Welcome back to News First. President Trump's decision to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement was not good for Guam, many say, and the Pacific Islands. And now Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo's office says she hopes other nations continue the effort. PNC's Washington correspondent Matt Kay reports.
Bordallo's office says the Congresswoman has always been concerned about climate change and the impact of rising sea levels on Guam and the other Pacific islands. Now that President Trump is withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement, citing its toll on U.S. businesses and jobs and limited impact on temperature rise, Bordallo hopes the remaining 194 nations will pick up the slack. Many have already committed to do so, as well as some 30 U.S. states and a handful of major U.S. cities. And Trump says the federal government is still committed to clean air, but not at the expense of U.S. jobs, arguing he was elected to represent Pittsburgh, not Paris. Bordallo is also concerned about coral reefs and the bleaching of reefs from climate-induced ocean warming. The Congresswoman reintroduced legislation last year to reauthorize the 2000 Coral Reef Conservation Act. The Washington Post wrote then, the reefs around Guam and nearby islands in the Marianas Chain have been ravaged for 3 years, with the pattern expected to continue. University of Guam coral ecologist Lori Raimundo told the Post, after a dive in Tuman Bay, that for the first time in 50 years in the water, she cried into her mask. Congresswoman Bordallo, in written remarks to Congress, said unless the U.S. acts in conjunction with the global community to protect the coral reefs, their condition will continue to degrade. But Bordallo has at times also placed economic interests ahead of environmental ones, when she strongly opposed the Obama administration's failed bid in 2015 to cut discretionary compact impact aid to boost climate change funding. She told administration officials at the IGIA meeting that year she was disturbed when an issue like climate change takes first and sweeping priority over a long-standing and equally urgent issue such as compact impact. Bordallo's office says the Congresswoman was not critical of Obama climate change efforts, only that it prioritized those over Guam compact needs. Matt Kay, PNC News, Washington.
In CNMI news, after over a year, CNMI Governor Ralph Torres announced his pick to fill the vacancy in the CNMI Superior Court. The governor's very own legal counsel, Wesley M. Bogdan, was nominated by Torres and, if confirmed, will sit on the bench formerly occupied by Judge David Wiseman, who retired on May 19th last year.
After over a year, CNMI Governor Ralph Torres announced his pick to fill the vacancy in the CNMI Superior Court. The governor's very own legal counsel, Wesley M. Bogdan, was nominated by Torres and, if confirmed, will sit on the bench formerly occupied by Judge David Wiseman, who retired on May 19 last year.
Here for several years, actually quite a long time, and I've seen him working with me one-to-one on issues, and the respect of the law and the respect of CNMI law as well, and I believe that he is the right person.
The CNMI Bar Association is expected to release its evaluation of Bogdan, who has been legal counsel for the current and past gubernatorial administrations, in the next week. The governor said the decision went through extreme vetting.
It wasn't as easy as, oh, here's a lawyer next to me, or my personal Mr. John. We can go ahead and appoint him. Actually, there's quite a few criteria, there's quite a few nominees that turn in their letter of intent. So vetting them all out, making sure that the choices are right, took this long.
Bogdan received his Juris Doctorate from the University of New Mexico School of Law and Bachelor's in Business and Political Science from the University of Texas. The CNMI Bar Association certified him in 1998.
I've spoken to several judges and justices also here in Guam. So far, I've heard good things regarding my appointment.
There is no word yet on the date of his Senate hearing. However, the judiciary, with its reportedly increased caseload, is in need of a fifth judge. Reporting for PNC News, I'm Tomas Manglona.
The CNMI Bar Association evaluated Bogdan with a good rating, 4 out of 5, the second highest evaluation a nominee can receive. In other news, even with the all hazards alert warning system test completed, Guam Homeland Security, along with the National Weather Service, held its annual Tropical Cyclone Disaster Preparedness and Climate Workshop. The two-day workshop began yesterday.
We want to make sure that
from various government of Guam agencies, military and private partners, and nonprofit organizations on how to prepare for natural disasters. Last week, Acting Governor Ray Tenorio signed a proclamation declaring June 4th through the 10th as Typhoon Preparedness Week to promote typhoon hazard preparedness.
we want to make sure that people understand that being prepared, making sure that you have the necessary knowledge and, of course, understanding of what's happening in cases of, whether it be grounds or swells and, increased water levels because of the storm surge and things like this affect especially the low-lying areas. But we all need to be prepared. But we want to make sure that people are listening and tuned in and prepared, whether it be your batteries, your flashlights, your water, making sure that you're ready for your home and your family in case of a calamity.
Guam Homeland Security and the National Weather Service has been doing storm preparedness workshops for generations, according to Tenorio. Some of the topics included information on tsunamis, earthquakes, and cyclone conditions, explained by a panel of experts, including Chip Guard, the National Weather Service Guam Forecast Office's warning coordination meteorologist.
We're going to talk about what causes the weather here in Micronesia, or specifically in Guam, but it covers most of Micronesia. And then we're going to talk about rip currents, the #1 killer here on Guam. We're going to talk about climate change, the El Nino. I'm also going to give our predictions for tropical cyclone activity for the remainder of the year.
Guard tells PNC that he predicts a tropical storm could hit as early as July or August, with a 25% chance of a Category 1 typhoon and a 15% chance of a Category 3 typhoon, with winds up to 120 miles per hour, more likely in October, November, or December. And of course, keeping us with the weather all the time is Chelsea Cruz. But before we go to her, let's check in with Dr. Amanda Del Rosario for Pediatric Minute.
Hi, I'm Dr. Del Rosario. Today we will talk about exercise. After spending the last few weeks talking about childhood obesity and the ways to incorporate healthy eating habits, our discussion would not be complete without addressing the importance of exercise. Kids and teens now spend hours every day in front of a screen. Whether it's the TV, video games, smartphones, tablets, or other electronic devices, too much screen time and not enough physical activity contributes to the problem of childhood obesity. To put it simply, kids these days are sitting around a lot more than they used to in the past. So how can we encourage our kids to be more active and avoid a sedentary lifestyle? One of the best ways is to limit the amount of screen time. The American Academy of Pediatrics identifies screen time as time spent using digital media for entertainment purposes. We recommend the following guidelines for your kids. For children who are 2 to 5 years old, limit screen time to 1 hour a day or less. Choose high-quality programming and watch it with your kids to help them understand what they're seeing. For kids who are younger than 18 months, don't allow any screen time except for video chatting with family and friends. And turn off screens during meal times and keep them out of the bedroom. In addition to limiting screen time, kids and teens should be getting 60 minutes or more of physical activity daily. Exercise comes in many forms and can include PE and recess at school, sports, gymnastics, dance classes, bike riding, or even helping with yard work or running around outside. Kids who are active will have stronger muscles, a leaner body, better sleep, lower blood pressure and cholesterol, lower risk of type 2 diabetes, less likelihood of becoming overweight, and an overall better outlook on life. So encourage your kids to be more active by limiting screen time and establishing a regular schedule for physical activity. Make being active a part of daily life and make it fun. Also, embrace a healthier lifestyle yourself so you can be a positive role model for your family. Remember that combining regular physical activity with a healthy diet is the key to a healthy lifestyle. For Pediatric Minute, I'm Dr. Del Rosario.
Hafidi, and welcome to your PNC weather forecast brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, Guam Windward Memorial, and Dipsticks. I'm Chelsea Cruz. So sometime last night, my dad went outside to get something. He comes back in the house and says, "So Chelsea, what's up with that rain? It started for a little bit and then it was gone." So which I replied, "Yeah, Dad, that happens sometimes." But if you too had noticed some light isolated showers earlier today, that is because there is an increase in moisture in the air, which makes those ever-present isolated showers a little more likely during this dry season. But of course, we're not expecting rainy days anytime soon, as partly cloudy skies will still prevail over the Marianas for the next few days. Calm east-southeast winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour, could be what's stirring up the convection in the area. Again, these winds aren't very strong, so on the bright side, you won't have to worry about your hats or your eyelashes flying off or anything like that. Now, just because there is an increase in moisture in the air doesn't mean you're safe from the heat. A high temperature of 89 degrees will be warming up the islands for the days to come, so you still get that summer feeling. And that's going to be it for your weather report this evening. Have a good one, everybody, and I'll see you again tomorrow for more.
PNC Weather Report is brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. And Guam Windward Memorial. And Dipsticks, located in the heart of Jalan Pago.